Hello, I'm Winnie Yu from Tion's Fine Teas. Welcome again to our instructional videos on tea steeping, the Gongfu style. Again, we have your essential pieces of equipment, including this gaiwan, which is a large chamber bowl with a lid, sometimes with a saucer. You have a decanter for your hot water. It could be a thermos at home. Small tasting cups. It's important to have cups that are the right size for sampling when you're tasting teas Gongfu style. And you have a server or a decanter for your tea and a strainer if you like. Today we're learning how to steep a ball-shaped oolong tea called dongding, but it could be Tikuanyin or any of the modern ball-shaped oolong teas. And one of the important things about tea steeping, and again, tea steeping is so vitally important to make a great cup of tea. Tea is different from other beverages. A lot of times you can just uncork a bottle of wine properly or open a beer bottle. But with tea, you need to be able to understand what your tea is when you're steeping it. Okay, it's kind of like cooking. So here you have a ball-shaped type of leaf, which means a couple things. You need a higher temperature water, and you need a little bit of skill to get the tea leaves to unfurl and give off its full array of complex flavors. We're going to start by heating up our vessel, which is a gaiwan in this case. You could also use a teapot. Heating up the vessel is really important because you want everything to start off at the right temperature. And this can be just, 20 seconds or so. It's like warming your dishes when you're serving dinner or preheating your oven. Okay, this handy caddy here is made of bamboo. It's like a portable drain sink. You can pour water into it. Okay, now I want to first, after heating up the gaiwan, I'm going to put my leaves into the gaiwan. Generally, the portioning is in proportion to your particular vessel. In this case, it's right around 3 grams of tea leaves, about a heaping teaspoon. Now, I don't want to give you too much instructions on that because it's really dependent on the size of your gaiwan and how much leaves you put in. Here it's a approximately 5-ounce gaiwan, and what I've done here is put a little bit of hot water, which just barely covered my tea leaves, and I'm going to smell and appreciate the aroma from that first, what we call the rinsing of the leaves. Now, rinsing is not to clean your leaves, it's to wake the leaves up to get it to the right temperature before you start steeping. And then you pour your hot water, which is approximately 190 to 205, just under a boil. Okay, and now this tea steeping process can take about a minute to a minute and a half, depending on a lot of other factors, and this is where the art part of this comes in over science. Sometimes if you're in a cold day, you may want to steep for a minute and a half. If you're in a hot day like today, you may just want to steep it for a minute. Okay, and also depends on the material of the vessel. In this case, it's porcelain. If you're using a very thin porcelain that cools very quickly, then you want to steep it just a little longer. Okay, if you're using a Yixing teapot, which is also preferred for this, Yixing teapots are made of purple clay sand. That retains heat very well. Okay, what I'm doing is that every few seconds I'm agitating the leaves to let them swim around in the gaiwan. Okay, this is one of the secrets to making this tea. That allows the teas to unfurl, but you don't want to open your lid for a long period of time because that dissipates the heat from the gaiwan. Okay, all of these little secrets really help your cup of tea and create the most perfect cup of tea possible. Of course, you could just steep it in a teapot, and if you have good quality tea leaves, it would be just as good perhaps, or perhaps not. Okay, and at the end, just go ahead and do a quick few rounds of steeps and open up a tight slit on the gaiwan lid and just go ahead and pour into your server. And it's ready to serve. Now the first steep is relatively light. This is a Taiwan style oolong. and it's a light fragrance oolong, so the roast is very, very light, and it's not supposed to be a dark brown color. It's supposed to look more like a green tea. And it should have a bouquet of very fragrant flowers and a very complex papaya peel, fruit peel, stone fruit type of flavor, ending in a very long lingering finish. Enjoy.